the church, in fact, a specific type of church, has threatened the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. by saying that if legislation passes to allow gay marriage, that this particular church will stop its charities, leaving over 68,000 people without helps that they get from this church. Now, I do not like to name certain groups, certain religious groups, and other people, because I don't like to make my videos seem that I am attacking these particular people for their beliefs or ideas, because, like I said, I feel that everybody has the right to believe what they want as long as it does not harm people or animals. However, sometimes these particular groups or churches or whatever put themselves out on center stage, and they put themselves out on the, I guess you would call, political or even media type pedestal, to where it is now warranted by people like me who promote equality and fight for human rights to say something about these people. And it happens to be the Catholic Church of Washington, D.C. Now, before I go any further, I would like to say that what I am about to say, if you are a Catholic person and you do not believe this way, and you see that what your Catholic brothers and sisters are doing in Washington, D.C. as wrong, then you should be standing up, and you should be making your voice be heard, and you should be doing something to change that particular religious group, and to help change those people and to inform them of how wrong they are in what they are doing. But yes, the Catholic Church of Washington, D.C. has said, and I quote, pretty much a threat, saying that if legislation passes that allow gay marriage in Washington, D.C., that they will stop their charities. Now, at first, they said they would stop their charities. Now, they're kind of changing it. But, if I am correct, charity has to do with, even, I believe according to the Catholic religion and to many religions, charity is a command by God. Charity is something that God tells you to do. And charity also is not supposed to have conditions. Charity is giving things free, helping people without people needing to pay or do anything to get it. That's why they call it charity. It's a kind act by people. And according to most religious groups, and I believe the Catholic Church, charity is something that is ordained and commanded by God to do. And for the church to make a threat to Washington, D.C., saying that if they pass this legislation that they will stop their charities that would affect almost 68,000 people, to me, that doesn't sound godly, as they would put it. That doesn't sound righteous. That sounds evil. That sounds hateful. And the fact that they're focusing it on same-sex marriage makes it bigot-filled. In my instance, in my ways of thinking. They claim that people need to think about this before they do it. That people need to think about allowing same-sex marriage, to just think about it before they go and pass this type of legislation. Because if we pass legislation for allowing same-sex marriage, that we could be harming people. And when they say harming people, the minister that was quoted, that I'm quoting about on CNN, who talked with people on CNN, said that we would be harming people because we would have to cause the church to go conflict or contrary to itself and what they believe, therefore causing them to stop being as charitable as they once were. That sounds idiotic to me, saying that we are harming people when it's not our charities that would be being given up. It would be the Catholic Church of Washington, D.C.'s charities that would be given up. They would be taking away their charities, and the Catholic Church of Washington, D.C. would be doing harm to these people. If allowing people the rights that our Constitution grants people, that they should have, and that is the right to get married and the pursuit of liberty and justice and happiness for all, and the pursuit of happiness for all, then this shouldn't go contrary to their beliefs, but it does. So therefore, I guess the Catholic Church needs to do a little bit of thinking about their beliefs, because apparently the Catholic Church doesn't believe in rights and freedoms for all people. They also say that if allow same-sex marriage, that it also affect adoption, and that, oh no, Catholic churches would have to allow same-sex couples to adopt children. But once again, that goes against their beliefs. It goes against the Catholic Church's beliefs to give two married couples, the right to adopt children. So I guess what I'm getting is that both these times, with same-sex marriage and adoption, the Catholic Church's beliefs are against people having their rights and their freedoms to get married and their freedoms to adopt children. That's what I'm getting from this. Now, in their defense, once this minister started being questioned by CNN, he did kind of change the story around now and say, oh, well, we'll continue the charities, but we're just going to have to work it in a different way. I should hope so, because if you're going to take almost 68,000 people who rely on your churches within Washington, D.C. area, and you're going to take their charity, the charity that you're commanded by God to give, away from these people, I should hope you should do something to at least compensate them. Since I guess in reality it's not same-sex marriage that will be affecting these people's lives, it will be the Catholic Church that is affecting people's lives. I hope that Washington, D.C. does not sit here and take this, because I honestly cannot believe that a church, a religious group, is standing up against the government of the United States and saying, you need to follow our moral beliefs, quote-unquote moral beliefs, and our ideas of what marriage should be, and our ideas of who children should be allowed to be adopted by. Last time I checked, this is a free country, and we came here for freedom of religion and freedom of belief. And my freedom of belief tells me that it's okay for same-sex couples to get married, and it is okay for same-sex couples to adopt children. So I guess it's not us that's going against the Constitution, it's you all who are going against the Constitution by telling people like me that we cannot adopt children and that we cannot get married, and that if the government of the United States and the government of Washington, D.C. allows such things to happen, that you're going to make a threat that would affect and hurt other people that you're supposedly supposed to be helping. It's just amazing to me that a group of religious people can come up and think that they control what goes on in a society where people are supposed to have the freedom and rights that they want. Yes, do these people have the right to think that same-sex marriage is wrong? Of course they do. Do they have the right to think that adopting a child out to a same-sex couple is wrong? Yes, they have that right. The right that they do not have is to deny me the right to adopt a child and to get married. That's what some religious groups don't understand. They say, oh, well, you're going against my rights of having my belief. No, I don't care if you want to be that way. I don't care if you want to be, as I feel, as hateful. And I don't care if you want to think that way. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that I have to think the same way. You're not going to sit here and come into my town or where I live and tell me that I can't get married. If you don't like same-sex marriages, then in your churches, don't perform same-sex marriages. Simple as that. If you don't like adopting children out to gay couples, then get rid of your adoption agencies and give them to give your children to places that are willing to use their brains and allow children to be adopted to loving couples, whether they be straight or gay couples. That's a simple solution. But no, you want to point your finger and make a threat as if you control everything and say that if you do this, if you allow these people to have their rights, then, well, we're just not going to be as charitable as we used to be. That's real godly. Very godly. Sounds about right. Sounds about right to me. Real godly, right? God's in that. God would come down and say, oh, well, I've decided not to heal people today because I don't like the fact that other people are getting their rights. Don't sit here and use God as your scapegoat and allow God to be bashed at because of your beliefs. You know. And if you're atheist, of course you don't believe in God, but, you know, this video really isn't for atheists. But if you're a Christian, you're pretty much putting, if you're a Christian, if you're a religious, you're putting God under the bus for your own hateful beliefs. Because, as far as I'm concerned, what I learned about the Bible when I was in my home, which was very religious, is that God loves everybody. And that God created everybody. So therefore, if God created everybody, then he must have created me. And I'm gay, so then God must have made me gay. And yes, that is the way I believe, and that is the way I think. I just think it's wrong that these people think that they can just tell other people what they can do. If you're a protester against same-sex marriage, then don't go to a same-sex marriage wedding. Don't be around same-sex people. But you're not going to sit here and deny us our rights. It's not right. And it's not American. It goes against the Constitution.